we're hungry.
And today, we're at ground zero.
In the town of Pokhran, we're at National Highway 114 heading out for Jaisalmer. Pokhran was where the nuclear tests for India were held.
Once upon a time, it was a sleepy little hamlet with nothing much going on. But today, the economy seems to have exploded.
Yeah. It's become a bit of a boom town.
In fact, this seems to be the nucleus for economic activity.
Yeah, everyone seems to be having a blast.
You get a real bang for your buck.
We're here to ask some explosive questions.
What's going to be the per unit cost of nuclear energy? What are we going to do with the nuclear waste that comes out of the whole process?
Is nuclear fuel an actual viable alternative?
And the last and most important one, what are we going to eat for lunch?
And after careful thought, we've decided to focus on the last question. We've stopped at the first dhaba that we could find after Pokhran, and we're on National Highway 15. The amazing thing about this highway is, past Jodhpur, is that normally on highways all over India, you get major truck drivers, business traffic, but here, take a look around, it's mostly tourists.
Considering all their clientele is foreign, it's strange that the menu is in Hindi, but it is quite a solid menu. The items on it, a lot of traditional Rajasthani dishes. We're going to order some of them. There's Kher Sangri, there's Besan Gatta.
And the menu, as far as menus go, nicely constructed, printed, looking neat. But what's in here is not so neat. Look at the prices on this. It's very expensive. Think of everywhere else that we ordered where things have been for 5 rupees, 9 rupees, 25 rupees. Here, there's items that go all the way up to 100 rupees. I wonder why.
Well, it's easy to see. This is mainly catered for the tourists. You've got some nice Rajasthani traditional stuff. You even got cannons outside.
But here we have the three traditional dishes. There's pyaz paneer, there's besan ka gatta, and there's kher sangri. The paneer needs no introduction. The besan ka gatta is gram flour cooked with a lot of dry spices.
The kher sangri seems to be the kher, which is a round ball-like thing, which grows on these bushes scattered all over the desert in this region. And the sangri are these beans, these tiny kind of beans that, believe it or not, grow up on big trees. It's not the season for it, but they've got it dried out and they serve it fresh whenever you want it.
Traditionally a desert dish. Yeah, you only get in the desert.
Yeah. Not desert as in after you eat your food, it's the meal, it's the sweet dish, but desert as in out there when it's not raining so much and there's still sand available. I don't know if it's this particular kher sangri or just kher sangri in general, but this has no taste at all. I can only taste the spices. The kher and sangri has a very neutral taste. I can taste the garlic because there's a lot of it. And look at that. Now, in case you're wondering how green chili gets so green, look at that ghee dripping off the tip of it. That is green chili fried in ghee. Oh, I'm going to like that. Here's a 4-year-old joke. What's this?
Chili.
What's this?
Shake chili.
But I always wondered though, the besan ka gatta is really heavy. It's like eating a brick that sits in your stomach like you wouldn't imagine. But after 10 minutes, it's gone and you're hungry again.
It's time for Rocky and Mayur's report card. Rocky taste.
5 out of 10.
Agreed. Ambiance.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Agreed.
Service?
6 out of 10.
7, I'm feeling generous. And value for money?
4.
3. Stop here only if you have no other option or you've come here for the nuclear testing and are really hungry.